Hi, I'm Becket Tundatil, and I'm in the field of lighting for the last 21 years. I started way back in 2000, where I started as a lighting technician, and over time I started assisting lighting designers. From there on, I started working as a lighting programmer. I used to program it for other designers and keep things ready. From there, gradually I moved on to become a lighting designer. uh, Basics of lightings are always uh, the face light and the backlighting. Uh, make your artist or the product look the best. That's the basic. And I think from there, enhancing the product or the artist and making it look, whether it's camera uh, uh, or a non-camera show, those are the basics which we always maintain and follow. Um, and small tips and tricks are always work on a plot before you move on ground. This is one of the one of the things which I've been following right from my beginning days. I don't just walk into a set and then start figuring out lights. I always do a back study of the venue, what kind of rigging positions are possible. Also, I also look into the set very closely. I get into the design aspects and also what the show is about. I try to, really think deep into these aspects before I start designing it on a draft or on a paper. And then things look easy when we walk onto sets. Every genre of show requires a very different way to be treated, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a corporate event, whether it's a music concert, whether it's a televised show, or it's an architectural structure you're looking at lighting. All of them need to be looked into very differently. If it's a wedding, yes, the scale of the wedding, the kind of area needs to be understood inside out before you start making plots, and that the types of lights which you use uh, ne- uh, needs to be understood. And if you're doing a corporate event, again, yes, the kind of corporate event, what does it evolve? Is it a product launch, or is it just a annual meet? The kind of lighting on stage or the lights hitting the audience needs to be really controlled, so it has to be again thought in a very different manner. Whereas if you're doing a music concert, yes, the type of artist, the kind of music has to be first taken into consideration before you draw a plot. And another thing which I like nowadays about lighting is uh, the the types of light which we use on shows. Like back in the days, we used to use a lot of park cans and generic fixtures. I think over time and in the last few years, we started using automated fixtures, not only for effects but also for face lighting. I think that kind of trend is now catching up, and it's nice to see that we had done this way back in in our shows, and now gradually people are adapting and making it a part of the system where moving lights are used for face lighting. Yeah. Just before 2020, we were all very excited about a new console. Like the MA3 was just being launched, and we were all looking forward to look at some new features and new ways to execute a show. But yeah, that's still on hold as of now, because show of that scale is still, uh, we are waiting for it to happen. But yeah, in terms of trend and technology, yeah, one is consoles and softwares which uh, have come up for virtual. There's a lot of new virtual based softwares which have come, which we've started experimenting with, like something like Unreal, events happening in that kind of environment. And we started even experimenting with new plugins which could do the which could do the lighting effects the way you see it on a on ground event or a studio. Yeah, that level of innovation has happened this past few months and during lockdown. I think a trend which is gradually changing is the use of pixel fixtures which can be used in a pixel manner from a media server. uh, that's a new trend which is catching up gradually, and which is something very interesting to look into. We've got involved in a couple of shows where people just didn't look at lighting up the virtual event with face lighting and backlighting. People looked at even the effect lighting for that event. So we started doing a research and development of using fixtures like how we use moving lights in a real show, and they were connected onto a lighting desk, and we had started, we were controlling the event in a live scenario. It was not pre-recorded or something. We were actually executing lights in the same virtual environment on the go. I think that was a little different way of treating virtual event rather than just the set and the artist. One which always sticks in my mind is the IFA awards in Madrid. I was told to design the lights for the award, and the thing what excites me and always is in my mind on that show was the number of lights used on that show. I think it's one of the largest scale award show ever for an Indian show, because we used around 1,200 moving lights alone, and then there were additional set lightings and generic lighting added to it. We used around 40 universes of lighting, and it was one of the huge setups which had ever been done by me, or I think anyone who I knew, other than the international shows which happen. So I think, yeah, this always stays in my mind, executing and planning that show with the team and the team from Viscraft, who was also helping me put it up together. So for everyone who's really interested in lighting and who's got a passion for lighting or is interested, I think we've reached a stage in life where we've got enough of tutorials and references to refer to and to learn. I think that's one of the best places to get educated if you're interested in lighting. And I think the kind of knowledge which you get from the internet is really great. Back 20 years back, we didn't have these kind of exposure to learning lighting, or even to see references. We used to wait for months to get a magazine shipped to India. But I think if somebody's interested, internet is the space. It's a working ground. If there's enough knowledge which you can learn and make yourself educated in the field of lighting.